It's your girl Kim, and welcome to I Got Something to Say, Tales of an Awkward Woman. And as always, I want to say thank you so very much for tuning into this video. I don't take it lightly that you would take the time out to view it. If you could do me a favor, like and subscribe to this channel so that way you won't miss a bit of content that we are putting out. Y'all, I thought something was crawling on me. Oh Lord. Okay. I want to take the time to I switch things up this month. I'm gonna get back to the day in the life so that we can perfect that thing, right? But I want to tell you a little bit more about my story and my journey. I want to talk about when I was struggling with suicidal thoughts and what led to it. And I want to set the foundation and I want to set the groundwork now for this video, and then the next video we're going to dive into the story. With that being said, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey. For starters, I grew up in a household where I didn't have a safe space. Whenever I would talk about my emotions or bring up an emotion or just simply say my feelings were hurt, I was always met with some form of negativity and statements like, "Oh, you got feelings? You too young to have feelings." I became very closed off and I stopped talking about my feelings because I didn't feel safe enough to talk about it, because I felt I wasn't supposed to have whatever I was feeling. I wasn't supposed to have it. All my feelings hurt. Well, I'm not supposed to have these. So it was met with negativity, and I thought having feelings was a bad thing, you know. And so instead of me talking about how I felt, I became extremely closed off. I didn't learn how to process my emotions properly. I didn't learn how to regulate my emotions. I didn't learn how to communicate how I felt. So what I did was I would bottle everything up, and then in most cases have some random outbursts, whether I would cry all the time. And then if I was angry, I would express that through being passive aggressive or just flat out spazzing out. That's not healthy. So I've learned unhealthy habits instead of learning how to manage my emotions the healthy way. And so whenever anything happened, whether it was me being bullied, me being picked on, having daddy issues, having my feelings hurt because of something that someone in my family did or said, I couldn't talk about it. I didn't have the safe space to talk about it. I would cry. Yeah, I would cry. I cried a lot. And if I was asked what was wrong, because of the negativity I would receive in the past concerning me expressing my emotions, I would always say nothing. And then again, it was always met with negativity. Well, you're not crying for nothing. You're right, I'm not. But at the time, I was afraid to say what was wrong because of the response I got in the past. And so I wouldn't talk. And if I did say it, it was out of fear of being in trouble because I wouldn't talk about it. And if I did say something, again, it was met with negativity. Not having that safe space and having my emotions and my feelings invalidated, it stunted my emotional growth. And then there were daddy issues. I grew up blaming myself because my parents had to get married. I thought they had to get married because of me, and then in turn turned around, got divorced because of me. And I remember asking my mom if it was my fault. She did her best to tell me it wasn't, but I didn't believe her. So I still took that on, you know. And I felt like my father didn't love me. I felt like I wasn't good enough. And I felt like he loved my siblings way more than me, and because he had a better relationship with them than me. And I was angry, but I couldn't really express it. You know, what I learned during my journey about this is that my parents, who were the originators of the safe space, they couldn't teach me what they didn't know. And that's hard to think. That's a hard pill to swallow when you're angry at your parents, you know. They only taught me what they knew. So if my mom and dad didn't know how to process their emotions, and they didn't know how to regulate their emotions and properly communicate when they're upset and have healthy communication, they couldn't teach me. And if they were met with negativity when they were growing up, they in turn did what they learned. And it was then my responsibility to learn how to process my emotions, and in my adult life, learn how to process my emotions and learn how to take the time to, you know, regulate and communicate and express how I feel without blowing up at people and spazzing out like I would when I was younger, you know. So I had to grow up emotionally. And I also learned with my daddy issues is that my father loved me, but he loved me in the way that he knew how to love me. It wasn't what I wanted or what I needed. It was what he knew how to do. Like, there is no doubt in my mind that this man will move mountains for me. He knew how to love me his way. And because of the way I wanted to be loved, I was closed off. And if he did express it in any way and it wasn't what I needed at the time, I wouldn't receive it. And I also learned that I wore a mask. Everything is fine. I would smile. If there was something wrong, I would express it in my face, but I wouldn't talk. I also learned how to talk about how I felt. Sometimes it was hard. Sometimes it is still hard, but it's to the point where I'm able to do it without feeling as if I'm being a burden. I've encountered people that care about how I feel and where I am, and if I'm having an off day, they let me express that. If I'm like, this ain't it, like I just don't want to get out of the bed, they'll be like, okay, that's okay, but you know, you got to get up, right? Go brush your teeth. You know, but I know that around this time 10 years ago, that was not the case. I'm going to stop the story right here, and we're going to pick this back up next week. But in the meantime, I want to encourage whoever is listening, do not give up. I know it's hard. I know that you're fighting. I know you don't have a safe space right now, but it's coming. Just don't give up, okay? Until next week, I love you all, and I'll talk to you soon.